Behind me here we have an abandoned car park, the Strawberry Place land, just a stone's throw away from St James's Park. And this land was owned by Newcastle United before it was sold, and then more recently bought back by the club. And ever since then, fans have been wondering, what will Newcastle do with this bit of land? Well, we don't have to wonder anymore. As of this morning, Newcastle have announced they will be building a fan zone right here, right outside of St James's Park, in partnership with the front of the shirt sponsor Seller and the Stack. A lot of you guys will remember the Stack when it was in Newcastle City Centre. Very, very popular, and I've no doubt this fan zone will be very popular as well. In today's video, we're going to talk a little bit about what exactly are the plans and what will be built on this bit of land behind me. We'll talk about what Newcastle fans can expect from the fan zone. We'll talk about when it will be open and ready to go for us lot to get down there, and how long will it be here until maybe they start thinking about using it to help extend the Gallagher end. Before we get into today's video, guys, be sure to get down and hit that subscribe button. I know loads of you guys have watched my videos pretty much every day. Have watched me stand here and talk about what this might be a number of times in videos, but haven't hit that button. It's free to do, so it costs nothing. It really helps the channel. And I also now have a Patreon, so I will put the link down in the description. Go and check it out. It allows you guys to help support the channel that little bit further and see some behind the scenes and exclusive content as well. So check it out. Yeah, and let's get into the video. What are the plans for this Strawberry Place development? Well, it's exactly that. It is plans. Newcastle have announced this as a submission of plans to Newcastle Council. So there is still technically a chance Newcastle could say, no, you're not doing it. However, would Newcastle have really revealed this, released this to the fans with all of the designs, had they not already had the inside yes from Newcastle to say that it was good to go? You'd think so. So I think it will be fine. I think the fan zone will be coming to the Strawberry Place lands very soon. The actual development itself, the plans that have been released, may change slightly depending on the responses from Newcastle, but based on what we've seen so far in today's announcement, it's understood it will be built across 2 phases. So I think we will see a big build possibly quite quickly, and then maybe a more advanced change across time as they try to really hone in on the nitty-gritty to make it that perfect fan zone all of the fans want. They've also said it will be built across 2 levels, so there will be a ground floor, there will also be a first floor as well, and that it will be built out of old shipping containers. Well, if that sounds like something you might recognise, well, that's pretty much what the Stack was back in Newcastle City Centre, wasn't it? And that's who it's in partnership with. It's with Seller, who we've seen out, you know, many photos of them, of their great events they've had over time, now partnering up with, you know, a more local business in Stack, who had a very successful base of food, drink, entertainment, music. You can see why Newcastle have decided to partner with them, partly because I think it takes something off their shoulders. I think Newcastle are doing a lot of stuff right now. To be able to give it to somebody else who kind of knows what they're already doing is going to be a big plus. And for Stack to have already been so successful in the past, you'd imagine they're going to try and make it just as successful this time round. As you can see on the plans, where are we stood? We're probably stood just next to one of the bars right now. Obviously the metro is just over my shoulder here. This pathway will remain. It is quite literally going to be within this fenced area. You can see me sitting alongside here. We're sat just at bar number 4, I think, just waiting for the kegs to come out. But yeah, bars, booze, and a stage in the middle where they can potentially have music. And they have said it will be to attract families, for families to come down, take part, yes, before games, yes, after games, but all week as well. So once the fan zone is built down there and ready to go, what can we expect? When will it be open? What days will it be open? Well, I think one of the key points to take from this, and yes, it does talk about Newcastle fans and match days, and I will come on to that in a second, but it actually talks about the hope to invite people of all ages, families. In fact, they hope to have the fan zone open every day of the week, and I think that really does relate to the stack that used to be in Newcastle City Centre. That was pretty much open every day of the week and was also enjoyed by people of all ages. As I've mentioned, it'll be great for jobs in the area as well. If you want to go down the economic route, I think they're hoping to have around 150 new jobs for staff in the fan zone, as well as local businesses to come in and sell their food there. Maybe even local brewers and beers to come in. So on that side of things, it's a huge boost. For people going in there, it's going to be a great place to go. You can imagine they'll have a stage, they'll have music, they'll have a lot going on there every day of the week. A plaza with seats in the middle, as well as I mentioned, a stage to potentially have, you know, singers on, comedians on, dancing. So all of that relates to this area. And we haven't even talked about the football side of things, and that's obviously where my heart lies. But it's not to say that maybe I won't come down here on a Wednesday night, you know, work do, party, friends, family. I think that's the big thing with this, and it's not just to say, yes, let's build it for the Newcastle fans, you know, let's try and help boost the city. As I mentioned, jobs, businesses, just anybody who fancies a beer on a Thursday night, Thirsty Thursdays, you know. So yeah, on that side of things, I think there is a lot to come from this. I think we will still hear a lot more on this. Local artists, local comedians, all that kind of thing happening down there. But in terms of Newcastle fans and match days, I've no doubt this will be thriving on a match day, especially at the start of when it is open and ready to go. I was going to say the start of the season. They've said they're hoping to have it ready for the start of next year, so 2024. Yes, that's right. Believe it or not, they're not going to have it ready in 3 weeks' time for our first game up at St James's Park, but they are hoping to have it ready for the start of the year, and it should be great. I talk about local artists, local comedians. Newcastle are really reaching out at the moment to try and communicate with fans, bring them what they want. We actually saw Shay Given doing online Q&A where people were able to go into an online waiting room and speak with Shay Given, ask Shay Given questions. Well, imagine if we could do that in real life. Every home match, Saturday, early start, come down here. They've got a legend on talking to Newcastle fans before the game's even kicked off. Maybe even away days, a chance to get people in here when they couldn't get to the game to watch it as well. And I think that brings us on to one of the biggest questions, to be honest, because you talk about the fan zone, get down here before the game, a bit of food, a few drinks, get up there, watch the game, come down after the game. But what about using this fan zone for during the game as well? If you couldn't get a seat to St James's Park, you're literally here, right outside the stadium, part of the atmosphere. You'll hear the roars. You'll be watching it on the telly, and for 12:30 kickoffs, 5:30 kickoffs, or away days, if you couldn't get to the game, big gathering of Newcastle fans down here for away days to watch the games as well. What about if it's a 3 o'clock kickoff? What happens if it's not on the telly? You can't get into St James's. Can they show the games here? We'll have to wait and see. I can't answer you that question. I remember a few years ago, they used to sometimes show them in Shearer's Bar. That's kind of stopped over the last few years with the cutting down of the 3 p.m. games. And to be honest, we're never on at 3 p.m. anyway. We're on telly every game, so it makes no difference. But it will be interesting to see what happens with that. I think a lot of that is dependent on what the Premier League decide to do, if they want to try and break away and do their own Premier League TV, and what happens with, you know, the government ruling on 3 p.m. kickoff. So we'll wait and see, but I'm certainly excited for it. So the plan is for the new fan zone to be raring and ready to go from the start of the year. So let's say January 1st, 2024. Well, how long is it going to be there? How long until they start to think about what else they could do with that land? Ever since we bought it back, everybody's hoped and thought that it would be to help extend the Gallowgate. Literally this morning, memberships went on sale to Newcastle fans. There was over 70,000 people in that queue. That's more than there is people able to get in St James's Park as it is. Never mind season tickets, never mind general sale. So what's the plan with the fan zone? How long is it planned on being there? Well, they've said its initial lifespan will be 3 years. So if your hope was they were going to extend the Gallowgate a lot sooner than that, then unfortunately you will be mistaken. There's been a lot of talk about the East Stand, and I do think the reason they're starting to talk about the East Stand and potential redevelopment of that stand is because it's very difficult to do an extension with this one because of the road, because of the metro, because of where they're trying to get to. Because that's the thing, that the fan zone's over there behind those trees. They've got to get over a road, over the hollow metro ground. There's quite a lot to do there, and I think 3 years gives them some breathing space. It gives them the chance to do something with the land in the meantime while they work out how they are able to hopefully extend the Gallowgate in the future. So you guys let me know your thoughts down below on the upcoming fan zone. Are you hoping to get down there for before the home game, during the home game, for away games, or maybe on your Wednesday night? Just fancy coming down, watching some live music, a comedian, a singer, you know, maybe a legend speaker from Newcastle United on match days as well. Guys, you let me know your thoughts down below. As I mentioned earlier, if you haven't subscribed and you have enjoyed this video, be sure to go ahead and hit that big red button, or black button, or white button, because it keeps changing, but it's free to do so. It notifies you guys whenever I post a video just like this one. But overall, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.